Thanks to you and welcome. We're underway here at Box Hill City Oval, round 5 VFLW action, and 200 gamer Lou Watton gets the tap down, but Collingwood have first possession through Paige Nash, and she's met by 3 or 4 Box Hill players in the centre of the ground, but it gets out now. Melander gets a kick off the ground for the Pies. They're going to the left of the radio dial, and it's a pack there on centre on the wing there in the centre square. It's just outside now. And we'll have the first ball up of the game in beautiful conditions here at Box Hill City Oval. And a big welcome to all of those watching on VFL.com.au and, of course, our loyal listeners on 3WBC.
So, in fact, also to the left of your computer screen as well, because we are doing broadcast via video today, as Nick just said. The ball out on the wing here couldn't be any closer to our side of the ground, but right behind the flagpole, sadly. So umpire's going to come in and ball it up. So we've had 3 ball-ups if you count the one at the start of the game. And up she goes. Down it comes. Tapped down this time by the Hawks, but running onto it and kicking the ball forward there for the Magpies was Hines. Cut off on the half-back line, though. And the ball will come out wide now. It's looking for the player there in Papadopoulos. She kicks the ball further down and finds Nestor. But if it was a custard tart, it would have spilt all over her because she dropped it and it rolled out of bounds for a throw-in here at Box Hill City Oval. Welcome to those listening through 3WBC 94.1 and also VFL.com.au. We've played a minute and a half, and here is Nick Nakos.
So the umpire throws the ball back in now, and Meg Hutchins gets the ball forward, but doesn't go too far forward. It's turned over now, and Collingwood have possession of the ball. Tackled once again. In there is Tani Nestor laying a great tackle after she just recently spilt the ball over the boundary line. So tough early going here at Box Hill City Oval. Hines with the first tap out, but it goes over the line. Darcy takes it over the line, one of Collingwood's superstar players.
We'll just introduce the guys down on the boundary line. We'll come back and talk to you in a moment, Ben. But we've got Brad and also Peter down there. Brad Mullen, Peter Lausch. Brad, you're in best position to give us thoughts on the breeze, if there is any.
Yeah, it's blowing a bit to the eastern freeway into the ground. Nothing major, though. Probably 1 or 2 goals, I'd say.
That's the left-hand side of the screen. Coming out now, the ball in the hands of Beeson for the Hawks. Kicks the ball forward, but cut off and taken by Lee.
So Lee for Collingwood now. Has it on half back, and she kicks it. It's a good kick, though, and it reaches Darcy there in the centre of the ground, and she tries to propel Collingwood forward. Neither side's had an inside 50 in the early stages here. We're almost 3 minutes gone at Box Hill City Oval, and the Pies, smothered there by Box Hill. Fantastic defensive work. It's a tight, contested game early on, and the ball is taken over the line by Meg Hutchins, 50 out from the Magpies goal.
Sitting in the special comments seat, it is Ben Taylor. It's a sort of scrappy start, isn't it?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Neil, and all our listeners on VFL.com.au. Yeah, look, a very scrappy start. It's a bit wet underfoot too, just early on, but it's clearing, so hopefully that dew on the ground can clear up pretty quickly.
While we're waiting for this to be balled up as well, because it's going to be balled up, you can see here, you would think, and yes it is. Peter Lausch, you were also out there. You were wandering around on the oval signing autographs before the game. The centre, you said, was pretty firm but slippery.
Very firm, but still a fair bit of dew on it because of the overnight conditions being very cold.
Yep, for those who weren't in Melbourne overnight, it got down as low as 3 or 4 degrees, so it's been a bit cold. You'd expect dew to be on the ground. Ball on the half-forward flank, and we're going to have another ball up, and this is going to be at the 7th one, Nick.
Yes, it is, Neil. It's a tight, tough game early on as we approach the 4th minute. Neither side has scored early on, so we have another ball up now. Lou Watton gets the tap down, but it doesn't go very far, and it's volleyballed out by Hines, and it's once again inside the Collingwood forward 50, and the Hawks will look to clear. I believe the umpire's paid a free kick here, and she's giving it to Collingwood there. So it's a free kick to Collingwood, and Emily Browning will give the Pies another inside 50 here as they look for their first score. She boots it in towards the left side of the goal, and it's marked there just inside the boundary line. No, it's not. It's out of bounds on the full. There's a little bit of a conference with the umpires, and they decide, yes, it is out on the full, so it'll be a Hawthorn free kick.
You can tell by the fact that Jamie Lambert had to climb the fence to mark it that it was pretty close to the line. So the ball comes out towards the 50-metre line. Over the back, it falls almost into the hands of the Hawks player there who's been ridden into the ground. Umpire says play on, and we don't know who it is because there's someone laying on top. It might have been Rebecca Beeson, maybe. So the ball about to be balled up again. Tossed up in the air, tapped down again by Watton, the 200-game player. And the umpire is going to come in and do it all again. Ben Taylor, we have played almost a quarter of the first quarter, so we're a 16th of the way through the game and not even looked like a score really, has it?
Certainly have, yeah. Collingwood controlling possession at the moment and keeping it at their end of the ground. Hawthorn really need to get some clearances early. Collingwood so far 3 clearances to 1, and obviously, yeah, they're making all the attacking early on.
So a wayward kick by the Hawks as they were awarded a free kick at half-back, and it goes out of bounds in front of the grandstand here at Box Hill City Oval, almost dead centre on the wing. So the umpire will throw the ball back in now. It's been a good ruck contest early, can't split them so far. So it's spinning back into play now. Lou Watton gets front position and gets the tap down, but she can't get another effective clearance, and Browning's been in it for Collingwood. She's had her 3rd or 4th touch early on, and her kick inside 50 trickles over the boundary line about 40 metres out from Collingwood's goal.
Last week we saw the Hawks play, no we didn't, it was the week before, we saw the Hawks play against Carlton, and Chantella Pereira went to Darcy Vesio. Today she's gone to Chloe Malloy, who was obviously the biggest name that out there in terms of young players, won the Rising Star last year, as I recall, at the VFL Awards, the VFLW Awards. Ball tossed in the forward pocket for the Magpies. Bit scrambly down that end of the ground. Lots of brodies going in. Umpire has seen something and is paying the free kick to the Collingwood player who's getting up. That is Jamie Lambert, the one who almost took the mark before. And this is probably the most likely shot at goal. She's probably 35 to 40 metres out. Reasonable angle. Should be able to see plenty of it though. Kicks it to the top of the square. The ball bounces 15 metres out from goal. I don't know why that happened. No one went to the ball. Picked up by Whitford. Her kick smothered. So the Hawks under plenty of pressure in the back line. Good kick coming out that time by Wooten, who's been everywhere, man. She's been everywhere, but it's coming straight back in and punched out again, out of bounds, right in front of the cricket nets. For those of you watching on VFL.com.au, those wire fences over there, it is the nets that the Box Hill Cricket Club use when they're practicing during the summer months.
So no score yet here at the Box Hill City Oval. We've just ticked over at 7 minutes here in the first quarter. Glorious day here at the Oval. Lovely crowd assembled right in front of us here and in the grandstand. So the ball's thrown in now. Watton gets the tap down and she gets the clearance. That's great work from Lou Watton in her 200th game. And the Hawks finally clear on the outer side wing now. This is their the most forward they've been in the entire match, but Collingwood have intercepted their kick. And back come the Magpies now. Through the centre of the ground, some scrappy hand passes there, but an effective one by Hilary Grubb. She goes to the outer side wing, puts a kick in, but it's intercepted there on half back by the Hawks, and they look once again to clear, and they've been very defensive to start this game, have the Hawks, and a hand pass gets them out of defensive 50.
Almost, because it didn't go where it wanted to go. Pereira didn't grab it cleanly. Ball now. Both sides playing an additional defender. It's Nicole Hales for the Magpies. Free kick paid for a throw, and Chloe Malloy will take the mark. And a Rising Star, as we mentioned. We are now 8 minutes in. We might cross down to Brad and Peter in a moment. Brad, you should be all over this. This looks like being a 0-0 draw, and given your interest in soccer, you're going to be able to be commentating this better than anybody else. But it is Malloy with a big kick. Hit the post. That's gone 50 metres, Ben Taylor. What a great kick.
Massive kick.
Opens the scoring, though.
Collingwood, 6 inside 50s early on, as I said before, doing all the attacking.
Killing us with the stats today. Well played, young man. So the first defensive kick out from goal, because it's the first score we've seen. And out it goes, and ball spills off the back of the pack. It looks like it might have been Wooten in front again. She's been absolutely everywhere so far in her milestone game. Kicks the ball back at a great mark taking defence. It'll be Mackie, I think. If not, it's someone else. And Nick gives me the thumbs up, so that either means he's got no idea either, or no, it was in fact Emma Mackie.
So Emma Mackie clears from defence now. The Hawks have really struggled early on to get any forward momentum with their football, as Collingwood have the contested ball covered early in this one, but the Hawks now through a series of hand passes, and now a big kick forward by Hawthorn now as Sarah Perkins meets the ball with physicality, and she can't get a hold of it just now, but there she is at the back of the pack. Grubbers a little kick forward. This is the deepest that the Hawks have been this game. Meg Hutchins on the outer side wing, outer side half forward flank now, inside 50, pinpoint pass, but it's dropped there, dropped by I think it was Jade Van Dyke, and Hawthorn now get a ineffective kick.
I think it might have been Belle Price, and she's the 23rd player for those who are not familiar with that. A young player with very little experience is allowed to play as a 23rd player. For the Hawks today, that's Belle Price, and for the Magpies, it's Ali Build.
So Perkins met the ball strongly there. She's had to push up the ground a little bit because the ball hasn't been coming down there so far.
Oh, that is a training drill, but didn't come off. Great tap down by Watton again into the hands of Mackie, and it's straight through from behind. So the score's a level halfway through the first quarter, 1 point each of two. Peter Lausch and Brad Mullen down on the boundary. What's going on?
Rotations, Hawthorn are 6 and Collingwood 4 at the present minute.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Inside 50 for the Hawks. It is very slippery by the looks of it, Nick.
Definitely slippery, Neil. I went down onto the ground before the game, and lots of surface moisture on the ground. As marking it for the Pies, deep in defensive 50 is Nicole Hale. So the Pies look to clear now, and they look like they will through Jessica Edwards out there at half back, and the ball is now contested, and it's a pack there. Hawks look to have the numbers advantage, and they do, and they get the kick inside 50 now. Almost marked there by the Pies, but dropped and met and besieged upon there. It was a Pies player, and meeting them there was Holly Whitford of Collingwood. Really great contested start to this game, Ben.
Yeah, Collingwood set up quite well defensively, so they're going to have to keep an eye on that Hawthorn.
There is that spare player in Nicole Hales playing a kick behind the game. She's had a couple of possessions, which means presumably somewhere there's a Hawks player by themselves, and they've got to work out who that is and work through that player, you would think. Ball out of bounds on the half-forward flank, forward pocket region for the Hawthorn side. They're kicking to the Whitehorse Road or southern end of the ground. The ball's spinning back into play. Coming through, though, for the Magpies. That time it was Fowler. Couldn't find the handle on it. Umpire says, give it to me, and we'll have another go. The ball's just inside 50 for the Hawks, and we've got a score of 1 behind each. We've played 11 minutes, 12 minutes into the first quarter. And here is 3WBC and VFL.com.au's own Nick Nakos today.
Thank you, Neil Butler, and we'll have another ball up, which has been the theme of the morning so far. It would be nearing a 10 or 12 ball up so far in this game, as both sides struggle with their disposal early on. But it's now camped inside the Hawthorn forward 50, and up it goes again. Fowler with the tap, but it's roved there by a Collingwood player who can clear the ball now, and the Pies come out of defence, and that was Jessica Edwards with the clearance, and good tackle pressure by the Hawks as they look to go back inside 50. And Meg Hutchins is open in the centre square, but the kick just eludes her. And now it's a great contest now between the veteran Hutchins, who pushes her younger opponent off the ball. That was Sophie Casey, and the umpire says we're not having any of that stuff.
It's very unlucky there.
Very unlucky there. I thought it was a great show of physicality from the veteran, but the Pies youngster in Casey will get the ball moving forward for the Magpies now.
So they're coming off the half-back flank. Edwards seems to have had her own footy for the last couple of minutes. Into the centre, good tackle against Buchan. Ball spills out the back, though, running onto it. Lambert, she's been quite prominent in the forward line, giving a lot of energy down in that part of the ground. Moving onto it now, Build. She was ridden into the ground. There's another in the back. Umpire says play on. I like the fact that they're letting play go on. Bianca Jones underneath the pack with the ball, and she will get up. I'm tipping that Mua Lalofi, is it? And Shayla Marsh wearing the jumpers that associate their age. I don't see many people wearing number 93 or number 99 when they're playing game of footy at this level.
So both rucks misjudged the ball up there, and it's again contested ball, but the Hawks finally clear now, and with it there is Emily Gilder, but she's met in a ferocious tackle by Sophie Casey in the centre of Box Hill City Oval, and it's sort of a bit of a pinball out there now and taken high, obviously high there, a good free kick called by the umpire out there for Hawthorn now moving forward. But
not too often we say that, Nick. Good free kick by the
no,
umpire.
exactly right. And it's an awful kick, though, from the free kick. And Jessica Edwards intercepts it now, and she gets a grubber kick forward. And met in a ferocious tackle there was Claire O'Donnell. She was just savaged upon by the Collingwood defence there. Great tackle, bone cruncher. And Sarah Perkins now will get the ball moving forward for the Hawks. Wonderful hand pass by Perkins. Hot was the call from the crowd for Olivia Flanagan, and she manages to kick forward inside 50. And now with it running around, takes too long to possess. It was Belle Price, and unfortunately for the youngster, she turns it over with Emma Mackey running towards goal. Missed opportunity there for the Hawks.
So, free kick to Collingwood. Good defensive pressure. This time the ball going to be marked. That's a good strong mark too. This time taken by Buchan. Grace Buchan, half-back flank right in front of the commentary position. If you don't get a close-up for the Buchan family there with the camera, I'll go he, because she's just in front of the camera. Unfortunately, that marking contest took place behind the Box Hill flag that's blowing up on the flagpole in front of us. Ball going to roll out of bounds. Half-forward flank for the Hawthorn side. Just coming up to 15 minutes in the first quarter. It is a 1-point all at the moment, and Peter Lausch down on the boundary.
Holly Whitfield for Collingwood has just limped off with what looks like a left knee, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Well, she'd have to have a left knee, wouldn't she? Otherwise she'd fall over, but I know what you mean. So the ball tossed in. It's tapped down in front. Peter Lausch, Brad Mullen all over on the boundary. And speaking of the boundary, Luke Tamara. I'll try again. Tamara Luke sees it out of bounds. Ben, it's been a really tight, tough game, hasn't it, so far?
A ferocious start from both teams. The tackling pressure, the pressure from both sides has been brilliant so far. So I think it's a side that can settle down the most and start using the footy more effectively. Will go a long way to winning the
and I guess getting it out from the packs a bit.
So an awfully wayward boundary throw-in is now cleared by Collingwood through Hillary Grubb, and the Pies are looking to get the first major on the board as they have the ball now just their side of halfway, and Collingwood look to be getting the better of the contested ball here early. Grubb again, and inside 50 now, Chloe Malloy, one of the stars, Chantella Pereira wearing her like a glove. Malloy kicks it across the ground. It's rolling, goal. Great goal from Chloe Malloy, first of the game and first for the Magpies. They lead 1-1-7 after 16 minutes here at Box Hill City Oval. Hawthorn one behind 1 point. Great work there from Chloe Malloy.
I think, Nick, if she tried to pick that ball up, she would have lost possession. So it was very clever. She had her Hawthorn opponent on her tail. Very clever just to get it on the boot. And the ball rolled through.
So fantastic.
Good work there, Ben Taylor. Go down to see Brad and Peter. Given the breeze that appears to be blowing, Brad, that you mentioned before, would you expect that Collingwood would want to be a goal or two up at quarter time, you would think?
Yeah, most definitely. They'd want to have, for three-quarter time, they'd want to be a couple of goals up with this win.
So the ball kicked forward this time by Grubb. She gets the ball forward, almost cut off by Costello. But the Collingwood side pick it up again. This might be Casey, I think it is, with the ball. Plenty of scramble going on the back of the centre square for the Hawks. Umpire's going to say holding the ball, and coming up from the bottom of the pack with the ball will be the Hawthorn player. So a free kick, great tackle that time by Sarah Darcy. Now calling for the 50 metres, and if she gets 50 metres for that, I'm going to go and buy a Tats Lotto ticket, because I think she would be very lucky and very optimistic if she was to get a 50 for that. Left foot kick inside 50, looking for and almost finding Malloy, but she's going to pay the mark. It is Malloy, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so, Neil.
Yep. Came out like her uncle Jared used to back for the Magpies and the Lions all those years ago. Strong at the ball, good lead, and she'll take a shot at goal for her second from about 30-35 metres out from goal. Directly in front, kicking to the northern or freeway end of the Box Hill City Oval. For those of you joining us through VFL.com.au for the VFLW game, welcome to Box Hill City Oval. Situated on the corner of Middleborough Road and Whitehorse Road in the beautiful suburb of Box Hill. Chloe Malloy, 40 metres out, directly in front. Pereira doing a little dance on the mark to put her off. Tell you what, if you did that, Nick, it'd put me off. So Malloy coming in for her second and fading away and missing to the right-hand side. 18 minutes into the first quarter. Collingwood 1-8. Hawthorn a single solitary behind Ben Taylor.
Yeah, we've got some real forward presence in both teams today. So marks inside 50 are going to be crucial. Malloy taking the first one of the morning so far.
So Hawthorn clearing now from the defensive kick-out, and it's a wonderful mark there by Olivia Flanagan on half-back. So not long left now in this first quarter as we tick towards the 19th minute here, and it's a smothered kick there as Hawthorn try to propel the ball forward. Great contest here at half-forward. Jamie Lambert's there with it, and a number of players there contesting the ball. Hard contested ball game so far, and coming forward now, Chantella Pereira, she's got nowhere to go. She slides through to Collingwood players, though. Fantastic skill there, and Emily Gilder is there to receive the hand pass, but Collingwood once again now through Shyla Marsh will go forward inside 50. Met there in a great spoil there by Pereira, and Van Dyke has it now for for Hawthorn, beg your pardon. And Chloe Malloy in everything now, potentially holding the ball there. She might have had a bit of prior opportunity, met by two players from the Hawthorn Football Club.
Shyla Marsh wearing number 99 today for the Pies.
I'm putting money on the fact that she was born in 1999.
You might be right, Neil.
That would be my tip. That's what I was saying before about people demonstrating their age.
So now Hawthorn clearing. There's just 20 seconds remaining here in the first quarter as the kick to Olivia Flanagan is not a very good one, and it's a tackle by Collingwood. They've been absolutely everywhere, Collingwood, so far in this first quarter. Where a Hawthorn player has been, a Collingwood one has not been far behind. As we tick towards the end of the first quarter now, the final ball up. Watton gets the tap in her 200th game, and the Pies might squeeze through one more inside 50, and there's the siren. So after the first quarter of play, what a tough contested quarter it was. It's the Magpies through Chloe Malloy's goal, and the only goal of the quarter that lead 1-8 to Hawthorn.
Nick, you're going to be ready to get going very, very shortly because they're going to have a ball up here. You can pick it a mile away.
Yes, they are, Neil Butler. As Ebony Nixon on the bottom of the pack, she manages to stand with the ball, but 3 or 4 Collingwood players say you're not getting out of here. So up it goes again now, and it's an uncontested ruck tap to Collingwood there, but they can't shark the ball from a roving perspective, and the Hawks will clear. Another drop mark from Hawthorn early in this game. They haven't been able to hold on to the football early, and it's paddled along the ground there by Hutchins down there at half forward, and Collingwood once again with a clearing kick. They've been impenetrable from the half forward on in this game, but a wonderful mark by Jade Van Dyke here on the broadcast side wing.
So Van Dyke takes it across the centre. In that instance, I noticed the players were shielding their eyes from the sun. That may account for why there's been some drop marks. Picked up in the back line that time by Sibley, looks like. Comes out the other side. No, it can't have been because Sibley's running onto it now. And right on the 50-metre line for the Magpies. And we're going to have a ball up on the line, I suspect. Now, we are currently seeing a whole lot of stuff flashing on the screen, but no scores. So we're going to have to manually keep score for the time being. Our apologies for that, but hopefully they'll reset the screen very, very soon. Ball tapped down, picked up that time by Stephanie Carroll for the Hawks. Her clearing kick goes out wide out on the other side of the ground. Good body work by Gilda. Couldn't control the ball, though. Tapped out and found, it looked like it might have been Hales out there for the Magpies. She kicks it forward, and a good mark taken. Half forward flank, and I'm not even going to try and guess.
So Collingwood come forward now, and another inside 50 for the Pies. Their first of the second quarter now, and it's cleared once again by Jade Van Dyke on half back, but it's an ineffective clearance, and it's marked on the outer side now, and Collingwood go very quickly into their forward line, but the kick was at the ankles of the Collingwood forward, and that was Gabrielle Bidenweg-Webster.
Beautifully
she
played.
Sees it. Thank you very much, Neil Butler. And she sees it over the boundary line, 45 out from the Magpies goal.
She had Evie Nixon for company, so certainly good contest this game of football. There's no clear winners of any ball. If you get it, it's hard earned. Kick forward this time by Tamara Luke. Ball cut off this time by Laloifi. Kicks the ball forward inside 50. Malloy comes out. Oh, the one-hander if you don't mind. If you don't mind, Uncle Jared would be happy with that. So would Grandpa Shane if they're having a listen. Kicks the ball inside and finds a teammate there in Hillary Grubb, who had worked her way down inside 50. Good work that time by the girl Malloy, Ben Taylor.
Yeah, look, fantastic mark, but I think the kick too was put to the advantage of Malloy, so we give credit to the kicker there as well.
So I'm tempted to say it was a grubber by Grubb, but it was kicked forward. Poor kick in the end, running forward onto it. Beeson takes it now, hands it on, and there's a chain of handballs by the Hawks. It ends up in the hands of the number 34 and Alison Dowler. She's kicking the ball forward, looking for Watton, who has had a great game today. She's joined in the hunt by Flanagan, but her big feet kick the ball out of bounds, and it will be rolled out, thrown in, is what I'm trying to say, Nick.
So we've got the scoreboard back up and running here at the Box Hill City Oval. 3.5 minutes gone in the second quarter. No change to the quarter time score. Collingwood 1-8, Hawthorn 1 behind. And the ball will be thrown in now half forward to the Hawthorn goal. And the ruck duel was really a no event there with the Magpies Hines getting the tap. And the umpire calls another ball up as captain of the Hawks, Emma Mackey, is there at the bottom of the pack.
She could have given a free kick away there, Nick. A little bit high there, but
yeah.
Very lucky there.
Well, fortunate there, the captain, all her experience playing to her advantage there as Watton gets the tap and a little bit of head-high contact there by Hawthorn, and it'll be a free kick as the Collingwood player Darcy looks a little bit groggy as she's getting up there from that.
She has no idea where she is or which way she's going.
Not sure which way she's going.
Got a bit dazed look on her face.
A little bit confused, Neil.
Indeed, dazed and confused. Ball kicked forward by Darcy. She's got a nice left foot style. Tell you what, this girl's doing okay. Chloe Malloy takes another ripping mark on the forward line, brings it down further and finds Hines of the 57 varieties. She hand passes off to the person with the biggest number possible in Marsh, number 99. But taking the mark and cutting it off is Ebony Nixon. No relation to Richard, I understand. So the ball kicked in towards the centre. Perkins running onto it. Can't bend down to get it because it's just out of her reach. Every time she bend down, it would roll a bit further forward. Coming through Hales, Grubb, who kicks the ball inside 50, puts the Hawthorn defence under pressure. Costello working hard, but she is joined in that effort by a number of Collingwood players. And we'll have a ball up about 20 metres out from the goal. Collingwood kicking to the right of your computer screen or to the Whitehorse Road end if you know the ground.
So no ruck tap out there to either player in the ruck contest, and it's a little bit of kicking in danger there, or was it holding without the ball? It was a holding free kick against.
Guys, as I said in the first quarter, that Collingwood dominating the inside 50s at the moment. It's 5-1 in this quarter so far.
Wow.
So Costello gives away a free kick, and it'll be Holly Whitford who will take the shot at goal. Tough pocket here, and Whitford came off earlier in the first quarter, as Peter Lausch mentioned, with a potential knee injury. She looks good now, and what a great kick that was. Centering the ball up, a much easier shot at goal. It'll be for Chloe Leeton.
Poor defensive work there from the Hawthorn side there, just allowing the player there in Whitford to get that pass off in a much better position.
Coming down to the boundary riders very soon, so think of something interesting to say, you lads. Coming in is Leighton, and her kick drops short, and a good strong mark that looks like it might be Luke with the ball. And she repels the attack, brings the ball out to Costello, got a bit of a shove, but kicked forward by Sophie Alexander towards the top of the screen, top of the goal square. Again, it is picked up by the Magpies, and they are absolutely under siege, the Hawthorn defence at the moment. Are they not, gentlemen on the boundary line?
They are definitely under siege. Collingwood really putting the pressure on this quarter. Darcy's just come off after that knock, and I dare say she'll be back on very shortly for Collingwood.
Coming here from you in a minute, Brad, when we get another break in play. But at the moment, Emma Mackey trying to find the handle. She gets it off now to her teammate O'Donnell, and they clear the ball.
So Claire O'Donnell now kicks it out of the defensive 50, but it'll be coming back in as Collingwood mark now, and they move inside 50, the Pies. There's our friend Gabrielle Biden-Webster, but she can't possess the ball, and now Tamara Luke gets a hack kick forward. It goes out of side wing now, and it's 2-on-1 advantage to the Pies, but it's great work there by Emily Gilder. She's met in a tackle but manages to dispose of the ball. Collingwood through Sophie Casey will come forward now, out of side wing. 7 minutes gone here in the second quarter. It's a hot contested game of football, this one. Emma Mackey, the captain of the Hawks, gets a handball away, but out there is Tamara Luke. She can't possess it cleanly, and throwing the ball in will be the umpire at the outer side wing.
I want to mention Tamara Luke. She seems to be playing a loose role there because she's mopped up about 3 times in the last few minutes. Back to the contest.
Coming to you next break, Brad Mullen. So the ball tapped down by Luke, who's now doing a bit of ruck work as well, playing sort of a bit loose as Ben mentioned. Ball out of bounds. Brad, what's going on down there from your perspective?
Yeah, so at the Hawthorn bench, not a lot going on. Just rotations for the first quarter, 15 to Hawthorn, and in this second quarter they've had 5 so far. Just a little quick note, Chloe Malloy has been absolutely fantastic this quarter. She looks a class above almost at some points, so she's been fantastic. We
saw a bit of that with the AFLW players last week for the Northern Territory Thunder, wasn't it? It was just very much they stood head and shoulders above. So the ball on the half forward line for the Collingwood side, and there's going to be stacks on the mill, whatever that means, and it's not going anywhere. Umpire, you can call. Oh, it did come out. There you go. Well, there you go. He was right and I was wrong. Ball is see, I was right. This time he's going to have to ball it up. I knew if I said it long enough, I'd get it there eventually. But it is a really interesting thing, is it not, Ben, the level of not only ability, obviously, because that's there, but just the strength and composure shown by some of the AFLW players.
Oh, absolutely. Meg Hutchins is a perfect example of that one. We saw her out on the wing before. She gave away the free kick. She was a little bit too strong on that occasion. But, yeah, there's a aerobic capacity and a clear dominance and strength in a lot of areas on the ground.
So a little bit of off-the-ball action here as gifted Collingwood a free kick. The ball up, 45 out.
Bet you can't guess who it is.
Yeah, I can't quite guess who it is, Neil. Would you like to tell our viewers and our listeners?
She's wearing the number 2 jumper. Her name is Chloe Malloy.
What a superstar, Neil. And I'm going to pencil her in for this goal. That's the mocker on her right there. As Chloe Malloy comes in from 35 out, and there it is. That's the mocker. She's got all of Collingwood's score here early in this one as we tick towards the halfway mark of the second quarter. Round 5 VFLW action. It's Chloe Malloy and Collingwood 139. Hawthorn 1 point.
So running out the ball now, coming out wider still. It's a good kick, bounced off the chest though of Dowler. I reckon the Sun's playing a bit of havoc at this time of the day, and coming in head first was Holly Whitford, and she's going to know she's played footy tomorrow, isn't she? She's got a knee, she's got a whack in the head, she's been in the wars a bit. Emma Mackey on the mark, captain of the Hawthorn side. She comes in now, Whitford. That's a poor kick, cut off in front by Beeson, who's had a bit of it today for the Hawks, and she will repel. Umpire's saying something. What's going on? It's a free kick.
It's a 50-metre penalty, Neil, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Downfield.
Downfield free kick, okay.
So she'll probably take the kick from the goal square by the looks of it.
No, in fact, it will be a 50-metre because it's going back to the player concerned, and that was Whitford. So something happened there. She's now going to have a shot from about 15 metres out. And that's pretty disappointing. I don't think that Paddy Hill would be very positive about that.
No, I think Hawthorn's discipline has been a concern early in this game.
So in she comes, Whitford, and she's broken the duck. Her first for the day. Collingwood second. They go out now to 2 goals, 3-15. Hawthorn 1 point. And Ben Taylor, disappointing for the Hawks to see that sort of basically giveaway, isn't it?
When we're talking about how much time there is in these women's matches, giving away costly free kicks like that are a concern. And yeah, you're right, Paddy Hill will be unimpressed with that one.
So we have played 11 minutes into the second quarter here. It's Collingwood by 14 points over Hawthorn, 15-1. It's going to do good things for their percentage if it keeps doing that. But ball down in the centre. Umpire's going to come in a ball up. Here's an interesting statistic for you, Nick Nakos, to just ponder on. And that is that Hawthorn have never lost a VFLW game to this point of their career.
That's correct, Neil Butler. They're 3-0, but they're not looking the goods early on in this one.
Having been Box Hill, of course, last year.
That's correct, as Collingwood are awarded another free kick in the centre of the ground, and they look to go forward now. And Fowler, but it really wasn't a good kick to her advantage now, and the Hawks will move the ball forward, and it's probably their best chance of the second quarter now, but met by Collingwood players as they have been the entire match. And another sloppy free kick given away, this time by Beeson. And Collingwood again get easy passage out of the defensive end, and they come forward now. So that's Lambert with it.
So the ball comes out. Malloy has got one player on her in Pereira, and against her also was Gilder, who was running to the interchange bench. Someone had to call her out to say, oi, the ball's going to hit you in the back of the scone if you don't turn around. Kick forward by Pepper Randall, and that's just a really bad kick. Ends up in the arms of her opponent, just inside 50 for the Magpies. It's kicked forward again, and a chest mark taken by Grace Buchan. Still behind the centre for Collingwood. Hand passes the ball. No, she doesn't. Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Runs around the man on the mark, and a good smother by the Hawks. Enzo, surprisingly, back in the hands of Collingwood, who've just been dominant in this game. Free kick this time paid to Hawthorn. It's going against Malloy to Pereira. And
just holding on
to the jumper. So Pereira with the ball on the half-back flank.
So Chantella Pereira now takes the ball forward towards the half-forward line of the Hawks, and it's paddled towards the boundary line by Flanagan, and she's beset upon by Collingwood defenders there. Sophie Casey's one of them. Great Collingwood tackle pressure, Ben Taylor. It's been a trademark of their game so far in the half an hour or so we've played.
It certainly has. But again, Hawthorn, we saw this with the Carlton against Hawthorn a few weeks ago. They're just bombing away. They need to control their ball use going forward.
Well, I think that's what happens when you've got someone like Perkins up front, isn't it? That's a target to go to. Straightens up the game is the expression they like to use, but it also means they can become a bit predictable. And, Perkins, I think, has had, one kick, I think, today?
Collingwood dropping their extra numbers back.
Yep.
That's why Perkins was pushing up, but then we heard at quarter time that Paddy Hill wants her to stay in the goal square, so they've got to kick it over that defence.
Indeed.
So this relatively strong breeze, which has picked up a little bit favouring the Hawks, hasn't given them any advantage in this second quarter so far as we tick towards the 14th minute, and we'll have a third ball up in very quick succession. So we'll go down to Peter Lausch on the boundary line. Peter, what have you got for us?
Everything's going pretty well on the Collingwood bench, just the normal rotations. They've had 10 this quarter, and Darcy looks like she's all right to go after that knock early on in this quarter.
And Brad, while we've got a break in play, just tell us about that hat you're wearing. Why are you wearing it, and what's the cause?
Yes, obviously Neil Danaher's fight MND is happening next Queen's birthday next week. So yeah, just a good cause. Get a beanie there, $20, free postage. It goes to a good cause. So yeah, get on board.
And people will end up looking as good as you do today, and that's something that we all aspire to. Hutchins doing a bit of a dance. She ought to take up square dancing from that one. Gets the ball across to her teammate there in, it might have been Nesta. Now running with it is Beeson. Beeson kicks the ball forward. She's got no one to go to, and it's going to roll out of bounds just in front of the Dream Street lending sign in the forward pocket here at Box Hill City Oval. 15 minutes into the second quarter. It's 11 minutes past 12 for those who are interested. 2-3-15 Collingwood, 1 point Hawthorn.
Wonderful crowd here assembled at the Box Hill City Oval. There's been another whistle now before the ball's in play, and this time it's going to be a Hawthorn free kick about 30 metres out from goal, and this free kick is being given to Tamara Luke, and it's a gift free kick, and you'd have to say Hawthorn's best chance of the game to get a goal, and Luke doesn't waste any time, kicks the ball on the boot, but it's to the left at Wayward, and Peter Lausch certainly
comments from Peter Lausch.
Let our listeners and viewers know about how the outcome of that kick turned out, and it's one behind to Tamara Luke. Rushed it a little bit, I thought.
She was on her bike, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Just have a think about why I would have said that. Ball goes out the back, ends up in the hands of Foster. She can't control it in the end, so it's now outside 50, and the Woods are away and running. I reckon that might be Edwards with the ball. Brings it inboard, kicks the ball, and there's a free kick going to be downfield. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's going to be paid to Hawthorn after the event for some reason. Must have been slung. It looks like it will be
Nesta.
Is it Nesta or is it Pepper Randall? Doesn't matter. We'll people with the camera going, of course we know who it is. They can see. We can't. It's on the other side of the ground. Have you worked out what the comment about being on her bike was about?
Not quite, and I haven't thought deeply enough about it.
It's because she was a cyclist. It was her previous sport.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, we try and keep the cross sports where we can. You've even got it written in front of you.
I do. I have a number of different little bits and pieces of information. As I said to you, Neil, I hadn't had a chance to gloss over it. I was
Come on, mate.
trying to work out all this off-the-ball stuff that's going on. There's been quite a few free kicks for off-the-ball antics so far, as Tamara Luke gets the tap out there. But once again, the roving from Hawthorn today just hasn't been quite up to it yet. They have not had many clearances, I would...
It's 5 apiece at the moment, guys.
Well, 5 apiece, but I reckon... they're not doing much this quarter.
Yeah, so preparation prevents poor performance, Nick Nakos.
Thank you very much indeed. I cleaned that up nicely. I think the other thing too, Ben, we saw it with the Box Hill side last week in the men's game and also against Casey. I think that Hawthorn women's side plays best when they're playing an open game, and I think Collingwood have shut it down really tight, and it's been a very tight game, hasn't it?
They're playing a very defensive game, the Pies, but they know when to move the ball forward, and they've got a target down there at the moment. Before Beeson looked up for the Hawthorn side, she looked up, there was no one to kick to, so they just need to sort that out.
So 200 gamer Lou Watton will contest the throw in now, and in it goes, and Watton gets front position and gets the tap down. So it's just diving on the ball there very dangerously was a Collingwood player,
Someone came out backwards
Jamie
in a hurry.
Lambert, and lucky not to be pinned for holding the ball, you'd have to say, because she's not making much of an attempt to get rid of it, and it jars out now, and Watton's there, and she's there with Erica Fowler, her contemporary, in the ruck, and it'll be another ball up.
I don't think I've ever seen an umpire run around a pack for so long and not give a free kick. It was forever, wasn't it? Kick forward by Carroll, roll out of bounds, and it will be thrown in the just forward of the centre for Hawthorn. We've got a minute and a half to play in the second quarter here at Box Hill City Oval. You're listening on 94.1 FM 3WBC Football, or through 3WBC.org.au, or through the 3WBC app. And today only, we are also being heard on VFL.com.au as part of the video stream.
So the ball is around 60 metres out from the Hawthorn goal, but Collingwood once again have it now, and that's Jessica Edwards. She looks to clear. It's a dangerous, risky kick. Meg Hutchins is there, outnumbered 2-on-1, but the Pies get the clearance now. They come forward with just about a minute remaining here in the first half. A little bit of a slight nudge there by the Hawks player. That was 13 there, Ebony Dixon, but she can't possess the ball despite having the advantage of that little nudge. And speaking of nudges, Cassandra Papadopoulos just gives Hillary Grubb a friendly little push, almost tumbling over into the grandstand here at the Oval.
40 seconds of play left, and you would think that it's too far for Hawthorn to get a goal. You'd think Collingwood are a chance. 30 seconds to play. Umpire going to toss the ball in. Couldn't get any closer to us, could it, Pete?
Couldn't get any closer.
So it's going to be tossed, spinning, tapped down in front at that time by Watton. Ball comes out the back though. Running onto it for Collingwood was Darcy. Darcy hand passes it behind her teammate in, that was Nash. And hand pass didn't go anywhere. Kicked off the ground by Flanagan. It's coming back though. We've got 4 seconds left. They better be quick. That's as deliberate as you will ever see. And the siren goes, and that is half time here. It is Collingwood 2 goals and 3 behinds. That's 15. Hawthorn have kicked a point in each of the 2 quarters to make them a total of 2 points. We are going to live football on 3WBC. It's also on VFL.com.au, the live stream. Ball kicked out of the centre, and you can see that ball holding up in the wind, leading in the race of the ball. This time is Tamara Luke. Might have caught one a bit high when she bent over. Umpire said play on, and underneath the pack there I think is Nicole Hales, and a little bit of a how do you do. And there's going to be a ball up right in front of us here, Nick Nakos.
So ball up right in front of our commentary position, and it's a stalemate in the ruck tap out, but getting it away now for the Magpies is Sarah Darcy. She hand passes it forward, dropping the ball there against Collingwood. Not called. Darcy possesses the ball once again, gets a hack kick onto the boot now as it hugs the boundary line and it trickles over the line. Chloe Malloy, Ben Taylor, a star of that first half, sees it over the boundary line.
Been really good. Another one of like Sarah Darcy, her in and out under work under the packs today has been really good and given Collingwood a lot of assistance moving forward.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Penetrating left foot kick, that's the other thing that helps in today, like today, particularly when you're kicking with the breeze.
And Sarah Darcy, of course, played 12 games for Collingwood's AFLW team and represented Victoria, so she's certainly an accomplished player in the big league.
Missed a little bit of the AFLW season at the beginning, but came back towards the end and did very well.
So our men on the boundary, Brad and Peter, have you noticed any players injured who are not coming back out at the moment? Have a think about that as we call the play. It's going to go out of bounds. Yep, talk to us.
Just watching an injury right now on the near the 50-metre line for Hawthorn, so Collingwood player's gone down, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, but there's nobody on the bench that is out of the game at this point?
No, Darcy's back out there, and so is Whitford from the Collingwood side, and I don't think Hawthorn had any injuries in the first half.
Brad?
Yeah, for Hawthorn, there's no injuries at the moment. They've got a full bench.
Okay, so the players, is it... we never like to guess until we're absolutely certain. Can you see a number on the players back there? Nick, you've got the binocs.
We're just obstructed a little bit by Shyla Marsh, who's just standing right in front there.
Is it number 80? No, it could be 88.
28, I think.
28, is that... poor old Holly Whitford again.
Holly Whitfield again, yeah.
Yes, if the Whitford family are listening, I'd get some health insurance. She's up and about. She goes in hard, doesn't she? So it is Holly Whitford coming off the ground now. So the umpire about to call the boundary umpire to throw the ball back in. But the time on is played in a situation like that, I believe, Ben.
Yeah, look...
so the quarter will go longer than 20 minutes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so... It's probably good for the game in this context because losing a player, we have lost a bit of time here, but hopefully she can get back out there. She's a hard nut and throws her head over the ball. So
yes, might have cost her
very tough player.
A headache at that time. So in it comes. It's spinning in. Tapped down in front by Watton. Goes to the front of the pack. Picked up by the Collingwood player there. It could have been Edwards underneath the pack. Umpire comes in and says, I'll have another go at that. Nick, see what you can do with it.
So, ball up now here. Early stages, third quarter. Hines gets the tap down. And meeting it there is Shyla Marsh near the ball, number 99. And, bit of a push in the back off the ball there. Papadopoulos, unfortunate not to get the free kick there. The umpire has given it. No,
I think there might have been a little bit of I got a push in the back. Why did you do that to me? Kind
a bit of retaliation sort of stuff.
I didn't want to say
there.
that, but yes,
Okie
that was the
dokie.
word.
So Collingwood go forward now, and it's another ineffective kick, which has really been the theme of the day. Unfortunately, the skill level just hasn't quite been there, but that's a byproduct of the great pressure that both sides have been putting on one another with when they've got the ball. So 3 minutes.
And the conditions out there, Nick, too. The wind is not doing any favours at the moment.
So the ball tapped down in front of the pack, and quick kick forward by the Collingwood side, but it's coming straight back, and it's going to be marked by Marsh, and it's coming straight back. She's taken the mark on 50 metres, and she wheels onto her right foot, kicks the ball in long, and rolls out of bounds before Papadopoulos can do anything about it. It's interesting, we're 12 or 18 months, or 12, 13 months since we saw the start of women's football here at Box Hill. The size of the crowds has got to be exciting. The standard of the football's got to be exciting. It is a really great thing to see, and the VFL should be congratulated on, or AFL Victoria should be congratulated on what a great competition they are starting to build here as the VFLW. Free kick being paid inside 50, and Nick, you can tell us who is going to get that free kick.
Yes, so Emma Mackey has given away a free kick there for some front-on head-high contact, and this will gift the Magpies a great opportunity for their third goal of the game, and it's Ali Build, who is the 23rd player on the Magpies list. Youngster will have a wonderful shot at goal here. It's only about 20 metres out, slight angle, but she should be able to slot this, you'd have to think.
Credit to the eastern suburbs of Melbourne and their community here, because we've been to 2 Hawthorn VFLW games so far, and they've been a full house in both of them.
So there's my mocker doing wonders again, as that kick never looked likely to score from a goal perspective, but it does give Collingwood another behind. They move to 2-4-16. Hawthorn 2 behinds, 2 points. It's 5.5 minutes gone here at the Box Hill City Oval. VFLW round 5 action.
So the ball on the half-back flank for Hawthorn at the moment. Umpire dancing around as there's a bit of a struggle, a bit of stacks on the mill. But I think you're right, Ben, in terms of, why wouldn't you? The standard of footy, if the standard footy was no good, you'd say, look, I'll just get there at three-quarter time and get there for the main game. But this is becoming the main game in so many ways, not the main game, a main game in so many ways. And I think that's a terrific outcome for women's football. Ball in the centre, Tamara Luke looking for the free kick, not successful. Picks up and kicks the ball wildly forward. Running out there onto the ball for the Hawks. It could be Flanagan. She can't control the ball. Gets the ball going forward again. Kicks the ball forward again. Perkins hand pass. Good hot hand pass. Gets it forward. Kicking off the ground. That might be Dowler out there that time. Kicked off the ground by Collingwood. And deliberate. That's a big call. The Collingwood defender kicked the ball off the ground, and umpire said, no, you did that deliberately towards the boundary line, and it will be Perkins with the kick at goal. Ben Taylor.
Anytime you kick the ball towards the boundary line in front of an umpire, there's a possible chance that he's going to call deliberate against you, and on this occasion this gives Perkins a really good opportunity. She hasn't had many today, Nick.
No, she hasn't. Sarah Perkins has really not been a factor in this game whatsoever, but she does have a very, very difficult shot at goal here, taking into account the wind and the position where the ball is. But we've got a Collingwood player down. We might go down to the boundary line and see if Peter or Brad have something for us.
Yeah, a Collingwood player down over in the forward pocket, or at Middleborough Road side of the ground.
It looks like it's Mua Lalofi.
And a stretcher's just coming out, unfortunately, as well. Whitford's right again, so should be ready to come on very shortly for Collingwood.
I reckon that while we've got a moment in play, I think we could probably nominate Holly Whitford for the Monty Python Holy Grail Award, only a flesh wound. She's been off the ground 4 times today with injuries that we think, that might be the end of her, and up she gets again, and it's only a flesh wound. Come back and fight like a man. So we are waiting for the stretcher to get out there at the moment. We never like to see this happening. I'm almost certain it's Mua Lalofi who is the player who is laying on her side at the moment.
Hopefully she's okay down there. There's quite a few trainers down there.
Yeah,
attending to her.
So for those of you who have just joined us, this is 94.1 FM 3WBC Football. We are live at Box Hill City Oval, every Box Hill game, and also many of the Hawthorn VFLW games. This is a VFLW game. We've played about 8 minutes in the third quarter. This quarter will go longer than a normal one because of the 2 breaks we've had. It is Collingwood 2 goals, 4-16, and it is Hawthorn 2 behinds. Brad Mullen, you are down on the boundary. What do you got?
Yeah, just want to give a quick crowd update. I just did a bit of a head count roughly, and there's probably around 500 people here, which I think is fantastic crowd for a VFLW game. I've been to a lot of games of the men's this year, and there hasn't been 500 people. So people watching on the stream or on the replay probably doesn't look like there's a lot of people watching, but yeah, behind the camera and next to the camera, there's a lot of people here. So,
well, we've got a small break in play while they get the injured player off. Do you want to just run through the names and addresses of the 500 who are here for us, please, mate?
Yes. Number 1 is John Aaron.
Oh, he's going to do them in alphabetical order. Well played, sir. Hey, if you want to leave the comedy to me, that'd be great. No, well done, Brad. The good news is that we have the player seems to be moving on the stretcher, so that typically means that they're not concussed, which is good news. But sadly, it looks like her day is over. Peter Lausch, we can't see you, and I don't know where you are. I hope you're not where I think you are. No, good. No, it's all good. What have you got for us?
It's all well. Obviously, Collingwood players getting stretchered off, so Collingwood will be down probably to 4 on the bench for the remainder of this game. Unfortunately for them, so they'll have to use their rotations wisely. And obviously, this lead's quite handy now with this situation.
And Brad, just you're closer to it. It looks like they're supporting her right knee as they bring her off, which often means either a knee injury or an ankle injury.
Yeah, that's correct. They're supporting her just above her knee there. So yeah,
she looks very upset, but there's no such thing as a good injury. But it sounds like it's more like a lower limb injury rather than a head injury, which is fantastic. They are taking her up the race. Game is back on though.
So Sarah Perkins comes in now. This is a tough kick. Perkins, she props it up 4 metres out from the goal line, but it's now cleared by Collingwood. But looks to be a shank kick there, clearing kick for the Pies, and it just lands inside the boundary line. And that was close from Perkins from that angle, Neil.
It was indeed.
Very
Do you think
close.
that kick might have been on her wrong foot? Just that one, as in the Collingwood player coming out?
Definitely.
Just judging by the fact that it went up about 10 metres and came forward about 4. So it's tossed back in inside 50 metres for Hawthorn's side. Tapped down in front, picked up by Lambert. She's been pretty lively today. She kicks the ball forward, but coming out to meet it for the Hawks, that might be Van Dyke. Quick kick forward. Good mark taken by Sophie Alexander. Halfback flank. She kicks the ball out there looking for her teammate coming out to get the ball. That was Hines. Good old Beans Means. Ball tapped forward. Running onto it now in the 81 is Bianca Jones. Her kick smothered, but Hines kept running and kicked it on her wrong foot as well, I suspect. Kick forward by Hales. She's been the Grubb. Very similar appearance and very similar number, which makes you look a bit silly when you've got the camera next to you. Tamara Luke kick forward, smothered. It's going around in circles and not going very far. Mackie copped one, and umpire said no, play on. And now he says, no, we will board it up. Ben Taylor, it just sort of takes a bit of a while for the game to get back up and about, and we don't really know how much is left in the quarter now.
Hawthorn still wasting a few opportunities, unfortunately. They've had 2 shots at goal in this quarter. One didn't make the difference, and Perkins missed a moment ago. So they're making opportunities. They really need to start converting. Otherwise, Collingwood are going to control this game.
So Jessica Edwards slips in the centre square now as Collingwood look to go forward and Hawthorn repel them, and Emma Mackey's there as she always is at the bottom of the pack, and it'll be a ball up now inside the centre square.
Much quieter today, Nick, than we saw a few weeks ago. They've held her well, Collingwood.
Definitely, yeah. Not as effective as she was a fortnight ago when she dominated against Carlton, and the umpire's going to now give a free kick to the Magpies in the ruck contest there, and it's going to go to Erica Fowler. So Fowler will take the ball and pump Collingwood inside 50 now, and she does with a long high kick. Beautiful delivery of the football there to a one-on-one contest. She was looking for Eliza Hines, but it's roved wonderfully there by the Hawthorn team, and they will clear the ball out to this broadcast side wing. It's a 3-on-2 in favour of the Hawks, and the Magpie player there wearing the, I believe it's the number 70 jumper. My eyes are deceiving me there if it is. It's...
She almost wasn't wearing
72, there we go.
Almost wasn't that jumper wearing it because she almost had it taken off. And
exactly
that, of course, Beaton Webster. Ball kicked forward by Mackie, straight into the guts of her opponent and bounced out of bounds. We are going to check what the lads are doing. I just wanted to make sure that Peter Lausch was able to open his can before I asked him what it was that he saw in front of him.
They're just very quiet on the bench. It's just the normal rotations happening with Collingwood, and Is Holly Whitford back on?
There she is, just in front of us there where the ball is.
Yeah, fantastic.
She's been in amongst it, hasn't she, Brad?
She definitely has, yeah. She's been in the wars a bit today as well.
So ball tapped down, picked up, and quick hand pass by Nesta. Ended up next to her. And the ball will be balled up again here on the wing. Very scrambly game. There are people handing out bottles of water, but they're not bottles of water. They're actually tap water. So that's an interesting initiative from Yarra Valley Water. Tap down to the player there in front. That might be Lambert, who's underneath the pack. Umpire says play on. That's in the back to Woodford, if ever it was. Umpire said play on. Nick, see what you can do with it.
Victoria's got the best water in the country, Neil.
And I'll tell you where the best water in Victoria is. In a little town just out of Geelong and Colac called Birregurra. If you get it down there, it's worth getting a glass of water from the tap there. They've got their own water system. Emma Mackey, free kick, half-back flank. Take it over, please, Nick.
So Emma Mackey with the free kick now. It was given away there by Erica Fowler for the Pies. And Mackey, it's a slow play, slow build-up to this play for the captain as she goes backwards now with a hand pass and says, you can do something with that, Meg Hutchins. And she kicks it forward now, and it's a 3-on-1 advantage to the Pies. Meeting it at the bottom of the pack there is Tani Nesta. She tackles ferociously, does Tani Nesta, and Nicole Hales is the recipient of one of those tackles. And the umpire says, I'll have that ball. I'm going to ball it up in perfect commentary position for us here at 3WBC. And a big cheerio to our folks watching us on VFL.com.au.
Oh! Tamara Lucas kicked, full-blooded kick, and about 1/2 metre away into the stomach of her teammate Claire O'Donnell. She won't be able to have lunch later.
She's been terrific today, Tamara Luke.
Oh, but how hard she kicked that directly into the stomach of her teammate. Mackie hand passes the ball over her head and out of bounds. And a little bit of feeling in the game, and Mackie and Whitford just getting to know one another a little better.
So crowd is building nicely here. Wonderful crowd, as we've alluded to in the third quarter as we tick towards the 16th minute. Spinning back into play now. Ruck Jewel's been fantastic today, and meeting the ruck tap there for the Magpies is Jamie Lambert. And as has been the theme of the contest, Ben Taylor, another ball up. Such hard, ferocious tackling in this game.
Yeah, lots of stoppages at the moment. Very hard around the contest, both teams. But there's still a team. Both teams can win the game here. It's still in the balance. Next 10 minutes going to be crucial here. That's
a really undisciplined piece of play there by Hawthorn. Umpire told the two players to stop niggling one another, and when the Hawthorn player, who I'll tell you what it was in a moment if she turns around, decided not to stop niggling, and it was actually Emma Mackey, I think, and the umpire said, right, it's a free kick. Ball on the wing here at Box Hill City Oval, and it's just starting to get a little bit heated. 16 minutes played in the third quarter, but not really 16 minutes played because we've had the issue with the player going off on the stretcher in Laolfi.
So there'll be a little bit of time on in this quarter. It's Collingwood still with the ascendancy, 2-4-16. Hawthorn 2 behind, 2 points. When will the Hawks get their first goal? Tackled there is Holly Whitford. She's been in the clinches today, tough in and close. She's been off the field a couple of times, but strong will and strong determination to get back on the field today here at the Oval. Pristine conditions on the Oval. Why wouldn't you want to be back out there? So up goes the ball now and tapped down by Tamara Luke, and it's seen over the boundary line by Sophie Alexander of the Pies. And, well, look, as Ben mentioned, next 10 minutes will be crucial, and Hawthorn would love a goal to just tighten the contest up. They'll need 3 of them to get in front.
Yeah, but they can do it, though. I think the play just needs to open up a little bit. Neil alluded to that the play is opening it up a little bit at the moment. So, still plenty of stoppages, but...
So another free kick paid now. A little bit of off-the-ball stuff again, you'd have to say, and this time given away by Sarah Darcy. So plenty of niggle in this match, as Neil mentioned, and it'll be Meg Hutchins there, but smothered on the mark by Darcy. What great smothering work from her there. And then she goes in with a nice hip and shoulder there while getting off the ground was Pepper Randall. That's great follow-up play after giving away a free kick. Terrific work.
Hutchin and Darcy know each other quite well. So being teammates at Collingwood in the AFLW. So
the ball comes in, tapped down by the player in Watton. Quick kick forward by Hawthorn. Touched by the player there in Buchan for Collingwood. Umpire says it was out on the full. That's interesting. The field umpire says out on the full from 50 metres away, and the boundary umpire who's looking along the line said no, it was touched. Don't know how that works. Anyway, ball tapped down in front. Perkins lets it roll out of bounds. And Whitford cops another bump, and umpire's just coming in and saying, righto, settle down everyone, let's just take a chill pill.
That was Perkins there,
just
the heavy treatment.
Well, Sarah Perkins wanting to get involved in the game, asserting her physical dominance here, and lucky not to give away a free kick. So spinning back in once again, and the boundary throw-in eludes both ruck women here this afternoon at the Oval, and clearing away now come the Hawks forward. They must score the next goal. Again, another off-the-ball free kick. This time collected there after she kicked was Flanagan, undisciplined from the Pies, and Sarah Perkins says, give me that ball, I want to pump it deep inside the Hawthorn forward 50. I should be there marking it, but I'm going to kick it, and she kicks it long and strong, but it's an outnumber there. Collingwood with the advantage. Down at the fall of the ball now is Jessica Edwards, and the Pies clear, but they're running towards the wrong goal. Tackle there with Sophie Casey. Ball
Great
yell
tackle.
the crowd. Emily Gilder, terrific tackle. Umpire obliges, and the Hawks will have a shot at goal. Tip of the goal square to score their first goal, ticking towards the 20th minute of the third quarter here at the Oval.
And interestingly, the player who delivered that down the ground free was Holly Whitford. So that was never a sensible thing to be doing. Brad Mullen has provided us with some team listing. Well done, Bradley. Goal in the meantime to Emily Gilder, and that's the first goal of the quarter. First goal to Hawthorn in this game. And when the scoreboard comes back, we'll tell you what the score is. But it is 2 goals for Collingwood, 1 goal to Hawthorn. You would think it's almost almost three-quarter time. It's not quite because of the break we've had. Ben Taylor, talk to us about that piece of play.
Definitely, that's what they needed, wasn't it? We were speaking about it there, Nick. They needed to get one before three-quarter time. They did, and now it's game on.
It is game on, Ben. We've got an exciting final quarter. Thanks for tuning in on 3WBC and VFL.com.au. And Collingwood look to pinch a late goal here. We're well into time on now as the Pies go forward, running around the outside of the pack now, and they kick it forward. It's outnumbered there at the drop of the ball. The Pies, Hutchins puts in a great tackle. She's been good in the last 5 or so minutes. Darcy approaches the ball now. She can't get an effective kick away. And the Pies, they get a kick out of nothing. Collingwood a kick out of nothing there for a goal. And I think that was Sophie Alexander.
I was going to say it was Sophie Alexander.
And the whole team runs towards her there, Neil. Fantastic stuff, something from nothing, and that's not what Hawthorn needed right before three-quarter time. And the Pies, with really their first meaningful shot in some time, manage a goal. So they lead, they extend their lead out now to 14 points, 3-4-22. Hawthorn 1-2-8. Ben Taylor.
Yeah, look, right on three-quarter time there. Collingwood very lucky, but out of the pack, very clever play. And as you said, Hawthorn, they just got a goal up the other end, so disappointing to give one away so quickly.
And it is bounced in the centre, well, not bounced, thrown up in the centre. It's going to be balled up again. For those of you who are looking at the time clock on the VFLW, VFL.com.au stream, you're saying why haven't they stopped at 21 minutes? We did have a stretcher break. We also have another piece of time on in this quarter. It may go as long as 25 minutes. Just a bit of a heads up to you. Phil Edwards back in the studio. We will be coming to you at the break for some updates from you. But at the moment, it is probably 2 minutes left in this quarter. So time for Hawthorn to get one if they're good enough. Comes out the back, kicked forward that time by Belle Price, the 23rd player. Coming out to meet the ball, though, strongly was Collingwood. Ends up in the hands of Edwards. Comes out wide, half-forward flank for Hawthorn. And they all have a little bit of a dance. And umpire will come in and ball it up. So that breeze that was favouring Collingwood, you would describe it now as completely non-existent. So Hawthorn kicking to the scoring end, but not with the assistance of the breeze. Ends up in the hands of Mackie, kicked forward by Hutchins. Hutchins brings the ball forward, finds her teammate there in Luke. Luke brings 2 players to the ground, and it will be thrown up directly in front of the commentary box. Nick, I reckon you can see it from here.
I reckon I've got a great vantage point, Neil. Thank you very much and well called. Up goes the ball now, and it's Lou Watton with the 200th game, and Sarah Perkins takes out her own captain in Emma Mackey, but the Hawks get the ball forward nonetheless, roving it down there, but they can't control it, Hawthorn, and Collingwood will clear, but the clearing kick is overshot, and it'll be pumped back in again. Watton says, bang, take that. Pumps it forward now. Tamara Luke's there at the bottom of the pack. Emma Mackey, if they ever needed a captain's goal, here it is. Outside of the boot, curling, but it's no good. Meeting it at the top of the goal square is Beeson. Collingwood look to clear and they soccer it through. Well done by Caitlin Lee. And that's the three-quarter time siren. And that will see Collingwood turn for the final quarter. 3-4-22, 13.
to the fourth quarter here. We'll get your thoughts in a minute, Ben, but the ball's kicked forward by Collingwood inside 50. Could have been a free kick for over the shoulder to the Collingwood forward player there in Lambert. Kicked off the ground now by Ebb, and it's going out towards the boundary line. Kicked back in, though, by Lambert. Inside 50 for the Collingwood side, but kicking it is Sibley. Big, long kick, but she's coming straight back, Nick Nakos.
It is Neil Butler as Collingwood go forward once again, but it's great outnumbering there from Hawthorn on the defensive standpoint. And Ebony Nixon takes an intercept mark, and she's got a free player here on the outer side, on the broadcast side wing, should I say. But she misses the kick, over-kicks the ball there, and Henderson gives away a reckless free kick, tackling or without the ball there, tackling the Pies player, which was Nicole Hales. Coming forward now, the Magpies, but again, the pack was set and spoiling away with the Hawks, but Collingwood first chilled on the ground one more time, and there's Chloe Malloy. Haven't really seen much from Chloe Malloy in the second half so far, and she gets an ineffective kick away, and it's over the boundary line. Peter Lausch.
She was rested for most of the third quarter, Chloe Malloy. There was a time management issue with the club.
So Ben Taylor is our special comments man. For those who are joining us for the first time on VFL.com.au, 94.1 FM 3WBC. Ben, what do Hawthorn have to do, apart from kick for a couple of goals? What else do they have to do to get back into this game in the last quarter?
Oh, they just need to use the footy a bit better when they're going forward. A perfect example right there. They're just spraying the kicks a little bit. So that quarter, Peter mentioned it was a bit more of an even quarter, 8-6 in the clearances. So Hawthorn did match them in that area. And Collingwood, they gave away 6 free kicks in that third quarter. So that gave Hawthorn an opportunity to get themselves back in the game. But Alexandra right on three-quarter time there. Really
telling blow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the ball in the half-back flank for Collingwood, and that's a poor kick. It's going to end up in the arms of Rebecca Beeson, wearing the number 8, doing her best Taylor DeRay imitation. And she kicks the ball long inside 50. In best position to mark, that might have been Watton. Ball ends up in the hands of Henderson. Henderson to Mackie. Underground hand pass goes to our favourite player. No one in particular. And coming the other way, though, it could be Flanagan. No, it was Papadopoulos, in fact. And umpire's going to have to do something here in a moment. No, play on, in fact. So it came out better than we thought it would. Van Dyke coming towards the ball, as is Randall. Randall kicks the ball inside 50, finds a teammate on the 50-metre line, in fact, and it's Mackie who's starting to become a bit more prominent, Nick.
So Emma Mackie, yes, she is, Neil, too far out to score, kicks it to the right forward pocket there, but it's not marked there by Perkins, but it's roved and snapped around the body there by Emily Gilder, but marked on the goal line by Sarah Darcy. Fantastic work from her. She's been one of the best for the Pies today. And the clearing kick goes to the outer side now, right near the cricket nets here at Box Hill City Oval, and Collingwood clear the defensive 50, but it's going to come right back in now as marked there, intercept mark, wonderfully done by Emma Mackie one more time, and she kicks it in again. Rebecca Beeson now deep inside the Hawthorn 50, but there's Darcy again marking the ball at the back of the pack, and she's too good today so far, and Shyla Marsh will look to clear.
It's actually almost really well played by just Richard Foster, who was just waiting at the back in case the ball spilled over the back of the pack. She was running into an open goal, but it didn't get there. It was a good mark, as you said, by the player back there in Marsh. Ball on the wing now. It's scrambly play. Umpire is going to have to do something about this, I suspect, and balled it up. One of those ones where you go, you know what, it'd be better to give it to the boundary umpire. It's so close to the line, because you know what's going to happen here. It's going to end up out of bounds. So the umpire ready to ball the ball up. Remember, these are 20-minute quarters, no time on, unless there's a significant injury, as there was in the third quarter for those who didn't catch up with it. The player in Mua Laofi had to go off on a stretch. It looked like a leg injury, which is obviously better than a head injury, which is what we thought at first. Ends up at the back. Hutchins kicks the ball forward. Big kick, but good mark in defence by Caitlin Lee, I think that is.
Caitlin Lee with the mark, and Sarah Perkins will man the mark there, jumping up and down, hands in the air. She's just itching to get involved in this game, Sarah Perkins. You just feel like if she can get one goal, she could really push the Hawthorn team.
Certainly
push them forward and do their cause no harm. Ben Taylor as they trail by 13 points here, and Meg Hutchins gets the ball savagely tackled by Sarah Darcy. It's all Collingwood here in the fourth quarter as they propel the ball forward now. A little bit of a numbers advantage favouring the Magpies here. They should be able to get a hold of it, and there's Chloe Malloy spun around in the tackle there, but she manages to dispossess the ball. And out there now for the Magpies is Hines, but now it's a free kick to the Magpies there, and it'll go to Sophie Alexander. And Peter Lausch, you've got something for us.
Yeah, Hutchins actually started that brawl. She was a little bit upset how she was tackled in that contest.
So there was a brawl you might have seen, and it might have been out of camera shot actually, but a little bit of feeling in this game. You like to see a bit of feeling, nothing stupid, but you want to see people passionate about their footy. This one, who's got the ball now, Holly Whitford, has been very strong in that regard for the Magpies today. She's certainly shown plenty of passion. And Chloe Malloy, who is, as Nick and Ben cleverly pointed out, didn't do a lot in the third quarter, and as Peter Lausch pointed out, because she was sitting on the bench, that'd be the primary reason. She just goes for a bit of a jog, runs around the man on the mark, kicks the ball long inside 50, coming the other way. Good attempt at a mark by, who was that? That was Grubb. Umpire said she got hit front on, and so the free kick will be paid. She would be, the person on the mark would be 1.7 metres inside the 50-metre zone, and in the end, the kick was so short that she was the one that tapped it out of bounds. That was Watton in her 200th game today. Ben Taylor, we have gone about a third of the way through the last quarter, and there has been no score. So that's not looking too flash for Hawthorn.
No, both teams working very hard defensively early on this last quarter, but Collingwood just seem to be standing up in the tackles a little bit more, and just their strength around the contest has been better.
So Emma Mackey is awarded a free kick, and she plays on, runs backwards. Everyone's looking around saying, what's going on? The umpire says that's holding the ball. So it's a free kick there. Very, very astute play by Erica Fowler. Switched on play. Emma Mackey got the free kick from the contest and then ran backwards towards her goal, and then umpire waved play on, and the only one that knew it was Fowler, and she's been awarded with a shot at goal here, and this will put the dagger through the Hawthorn Hearts today, you'd have to think, and 50-metre penalty, and that most certainly will put the dagger through the Hawks today, you'd have to think. Undisciplined from Hawthorn, you'd have to say. A bit of verbal dissent there to the umpire.
Did she run off her line there? I don't think she ran off her line.
Yeah, Emma Mackey, for a captain, pretty undisciplined. The back chat there, unfortunately.
So, and it's put through the middle, truly, by Erica Fowler. That's Collingwood's fourth goal of this contest, and they open up now a game high and what I believe to be a match-winning lead, and I think most of us in the box are in agreement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Collingwood move to 4-4-28, Hawthorn 1-3-9, 7.5 minutes gone here at Box Hill City Oval, VFLW Round 5 action. Thank you for tuning in on 94.1 3WBC and also live streaming on VFL.com.au.
Brad Mullins down on the boundary. What do you got for us, Brad?
Yeah, the rotations for Hawthorn they're up to 4 rotations for the quarter. The wind's picked up a little bit here. I know the game's probably done and dusted a bit. Yeah, if Hawthorn can get a quick goal here, the game's back on, definitely.
Well, any wind advantage is generally taken out when you give away 2 50-metre penalties, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
So the Hawks have the ball on the outer side wing now, and it's going to be thrown in as neither team can get an effective disposal away. So you're listening to 3WBC and VFL.com.au's coverage of Hawthorn versus Collingwood here. Neil Butler, Nick Nakos, Ben Taylor, and on the boundary today, Brad Mullen and Peter Lausch.
Bit of entertainment in front of us here. We've got 4 people trying to roll up a picnic rug, and it's providing an enormous amount of entertainment for the crowd because they are just not quite getting it done. In the meantime, this game of football broken out, and it's on the far side of the ground. That looks like it might be Hines up against Luke. Ball spills out the back. Hawthorn need a goal, and they need it now if they're going to have any chance at all. Crowd's got even bigger than it was before. Not growing, as in getting taller, just bigger in terms of numbers, you understand. Umpire going to throw it up on the point of the square, forward of the centre for the Hawks. Luke taps it down. Quick kick out, doesn't go very far. Going in there to get the ball. I reckon that might have been Whitford again. She's been very, very close to the best on the ground today for mine, Ben Taylor.
Yeah, no, she's been terrific. She's been everywhere.
Man.
She's hurt herself a few times today, but her courage to get back out there every time and go again.
So kicked forward and mark taken by Luke.
So Tamara Luke with the intercept mark.
She's probably been Box Hill's best, I would have thought.
Would have, she would have been Hawthorn's best too, Neil.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you very much. Nick Nakos award to me.
Tamara Luke now tries to get Hawthorn's second goal as she tries to propel them forward, but it's met with resistance from Collingwood as it has been all day, and they get a little scrappy kick forward now to the Hawks, and Beeson's there at the top of the 50-metre arc. Oh, savage tackle there by the Hawks. Wonderful work, and they might be able to get a goal out of this, you know. Watton's down there again, and approaching the ball is Van Dyke. She's come from deep in the centre square to affect this contest, and she lays a great tackle, and it'll be balled up between the 50-metre arc and the centre square halfway through the last quarter here at the Oval. It's Collingwood 19 points to the good here in round 5 VFL action. They look to be heading for another victory. They're undefeated this season, and they clear the ball from the defensive half now with a kick towards the centre circle. Watton's up there. She uses her ample frame to tap it down. Socket off the ground by the Hawks now. Deep inside 50. Wonderful opportunity for them. Spinning around there is Beeson. She snaps around the body. It goes towards the top of the goal square. Running around again. Tackled now. Holding
Great
the ball
tackle.
surely, you'd have to
Absolutely
say. Umpire says,
tackle.
yes, I agree. And it's a free kick to the Magpies. Goal-saving tackle there.
Jessica Edwards affecting that tackle. Gets it out further to Hales. She's been pretty good in defence. She's been the spare in defence for much of the first half, and they're pretty much man-on-man now. But, yeah, she's been very good today. Poor kick there from her teammate, though. Puts Edwards under the hammer after that great tackle. Ball in the hands of the Hawthorn player inside 50 metres. We've played 11 minutes. Umpire going to ball it up right over on the other side of the ground. So we'll just make it up for a little while. You've got the zoom on that camera. We don't. And so we are waiting for it to go up. It goes down. It comes. Big punch forward by Perkins, I think it was that time. Ends up in the hands of the Hawthorn player. And that is a great goal. We'll see who the player was in a moment when she turns around. But that's a fantastic goal, and judging by the response she's got, might be one of her first goals ever. I might suggest that is Van Dyke, potentially. No, it won't be. It's the one turning around now. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. It was Steph Carroll, and she kicks her first for the day. And Hawthorn's second, 4-4-28 to 2-3-15. 13-point lead to the Hawks. Ben Taylor.
Yeah, terrific. They're still throwing their bodies in Hawthorn, even though this game's probably gone. But yeah, just they needed it, and good bit of play there.
Well, the Hawks have 8 minutes to prove Ben Taylor wrong. They're down by 13 points here, 2-3-15, 4-4-28 Pies to the good. They have been the better side today, and out of this ball up now, it'll be a Hawthorn free kick, so Captain Emma Mackey will drive them forward. And look, Ben, if they can get a goal within the next minute or two, it's game on once again for an absolute grandstand finish.
Absolutely. This is where Sarah Perkins could be very, very valuable.
And that's where Emma Mackey goes to Sarah Perkins, and she snaps it forward, and the Hawks might get another goal here. Snapped around the body there by Allison Dowler, and she kicks another. 2 in a minute to the Hawks, and we're game on here at the Oval. They move to 3-3-21. Collingwood 4-4-28. Just a 7-point game. 7 minutes to go. Lucky number 7. Peter Lausch, what have you got for us, boundary side?
This is exactly what Penny Colour-Reid at three-quarter time, the Collingwood coach, was worried about. That she was saying that the Collingwood players were looking a little bit tight, and it seems like Hawthorn at the present minute are just running over the top of them. So hopefully Collingwood will do their rotations quickly to freshen up quickly.
So it's up in the centre. It's on here now, folks. It's been a bit of a slow game, but Hawthorn have breathed a bit of life back into it. Coming forward, that's an unfortunate punch because it's gone over the back of the pack. So inside 50 for Collingwood, picked up that time by Nixon. Hand pass over the top. The player in Pereira was held. Umpire says, I'll come in and ball it up. They're getting up off the ground with the chalk off their jumpers because they're on the 50-metre line, Ben Taylor.
So, Neil, Hawthorn just seem to be getting a bit more space now when they get possession of the football, which is something they haven't done for the first 3 quarters of
and
today.
That may come back to what Peter just spoke about in terms of tiredness, that Collingwood don't have the energy to be as tight.
Cover the ground, yeah, absolutely.
So Watton taps down to Mackey. She's been prevalent in this last quarter. The captain, 6 minutes remaining on the clock, will have a ball up. Broadcast side almost in the centre of Box Hill City Oval. Watton in her 200th game says, I want to win this milestone. Sharks it down again to Mackie, who kicks it forward. Wonderful bounce of the ball for Beeson. Goes inside 50. It's an open forward 52. Collingwood players lead the race out there. Sophie Casey's the first of them, but her kick is smothered. She might have kicked it into her own defender there. Goodness me, it's falling apart for Collingwood as Tamara Luke puts on a lot of defensive pressure there. Beeson meets the Collingwood player on the outer wing there. Great tackle pressure from the Hawks. They really want to get this next goal and really tighten the screws here, and they might just do it sooner rather than later. Hack kick forward now, and it's marked by Collingwood, and they'll be relieved to get that mark in defensive 50, and they will slow it up, you'd think.
They've had 6 inside 50s to 3 in this final quarter, so they're leading the way.
15 minutes played, 5 minutes of football left, 7 points the difference. Kicked, cut off on the wing by Hawthorn, and that's Beeson, who's been quite prominent in this particular quarter. She kicks the ball long inside 50, looking for a teammate out there in Mackie. Went over her head, rolls out of bounds in the forward pocket, and it will be thrown in. And just judging by the way those players are moving towards the throw-in, I think they're pretty relieved to get a breather, to be honest. It's starting to look a bit saggy. And why wouldn't you be after 80 minutes of solid football? This has been as physical a game as I think we've called here on 3WBC in the VFLW. Tapped down by Luke. She picks it up and tries to have a shot at goal. Her kick was smothered. Now free kick paid to Collingwood, and Nick Nakos, they didn't need that, Hawthorn.
No, Emma Mackie giving away a free kick there, contact with the head, and Collingwood will try and execute a risky kick across goals, and they do execute it now. And leading up on the outer side now for the Pies is Grubb, and that's a wonderful mark by Grubb. Hutchins couldn't affect a spoil on it there, and Collingwood, look, they might do enough to hold on here, and look, the ball drops there now for Hawthorn, about 80 metres out from their goal, and no one wanted it, but now they do. They want it badly. They want this win. Steph Carroll now pumps it forward. Hawthorn must get the next goal. There's a lot of pressure, though, right on the edge of the 50-metre arc. And Emma Mackie there effecting a wonderful tackle. Meg Hutchins stalking the ball. It's a 3-on-1 advantage to the Hawks. Papadopoulos gets the ball now, and so does Flanagan. She kicks it inside 50. It's tough going here at Box Hill City Oval. This is VFLW football at its best. Chloe Malloy, superstar player, clears the ball, but it's going right back in. They need a mark here now. Pepper Randall with the kick, and it's a mark, but it's a Collingwood mark. That's bad news for Hawthorn, as Sarah Darcy gets that mark with under 3 minutes on the clock.
Good afternoon to you, Gary, listening up on the Sunshine Coast. Big shout out to 3WBC Football. We love your work there, Gaz. Glad you're enjoying the footy here on 3WBC, and of course live through the VFL website. Ball picked up by the Hawks, gets it off to Mackie. Mackie round the body towards the top of the goal. Mark required, but the two players back there who can do that are both wearing Collingwood jumpers, and that looks like it might have been Darcy again.
So Darcy with the mark on the goal line, goal-saving mark, and then a great clearing kick.
Her positioning today in defensive 50 has been really good, Darcy.
Spot on, Ben Taylor. And closing stages of this one now, it's Collingwood 4-4-28, Hawthorn 3-3-21, and the Hawks will need a minor miracle with 2.5 minutes on the clock. There is plenty of time for them, but they need a goal very, very soon.
In fact, in some respects, they'd do better to get it behind and then get that goal, wouldn't they? So the ball about to come back in on the wing. Spinning. Tap down in front, or pushing it back to Watton potentially. Not paid. Pereira coming through like the 12:48 from Laburnum, stopping all stations except East Richmond. And the umpire saying it will be a ball up about 60 metres out from goal. We've got commands being shouted from the boundary. Brad Mullen, what's going on down there?
Yeah, Paddy Hill's just giving some commands from the boundary. I love to see coaches coach from the boundary.
Ooh. Could have been a kicking in danger, free kick not paid. We've got less than 2 minutes to play. Collingwood 4-4-28, Hawthorn 3-3-21. You can't see the result changing now, but here's Nick Nakos to do his best work.
So last roll of the dice, you'd have to say now for Hawthorn, positioned well for them, but it's cleared by Collingwood despite having the numbers advantage, and it's all Hawthorn in the Collingwood forward half now. But meeting the ball there is Sophie Alexander, and she evades the tackle of Papadopoulos. She kicks it forward, and this will ice the game for Collingwood. Wonderful mark there by Erica Fowler. She plays on those smothered, not a very good decision from her there. And then she's hip and shouldered off the ball once again. Ferocious tackle by Pepper Randall. We're into the final minute here at Box Hill City Oval, and unfortunately this endeavour from the Hawks will fall short as Collingwood will register another victory this season.
She could have taken a bit more time off the clock there, the Collingwood player.
You would have thought so. Lou Watton with a slap down in her 200th game. It won't be a winning one for her. Tani Nesta gets it forward now, but Collingwood mark, their intercept marking today has been an absolute feature of their game. Superb from the Pies all morning and afternoon long. And lobbing it forward now, do the Pies. Oh, a little bit of a tough hip and shoulder there from Watton. She might have taken out her own player there.
Got the left doors there, didn't she?
She did, and umpire calls ball up. Closing stages here at the Oval.
It's Beeson that
So
received the heavy knock
up
there.
goes the tap now, and Flanagan kicks it forward, but it's all too little too late. Sarah Perkins largely ineffective today, and Sarah Darcy, one of the best on ground you'd have to say, kicks it forward, and the Magpies might get one last score as they're on the outer wing now. Approaching it is Eliza Hines, and that is a wonderful mark, Neil Butler. She's 60 out from goal, and she might have the last kick of this contest.
With 4 seconds to play, she may not even do that if she doesn't hurry up. So ball, there it is.
There's the siren. Wonderful game of football here at Box Hill City Oval, and Collingwood too good, you'd have to say. 4-28. They defeated Hawthorn